There comes a point in everyone's life where a difficult decision gives them an ultimatum between evolution and conformity. And unfortunately, as time passes us by, our ability to evolve our consciousness diminishes. Joe Dispenza, who Dr. neuroscientist, states that by the time we're in our mid-30s, our identity and personality is completely formed. In other words, this means that we become products of societal programming, so our thoughts, our feelings, all essentially correspond in like the same manner. So we perceive reality based on the conditions of what is a memorized internal framework. So he states that about 95% of who we are by midlife is a series of subconscious programs that have become automatic: driving a car, brushing our teeth, overeating when we're stressed, worrying about our future, judging our friends, complaining about our lives, blaming our parents, not believing in ourselves, and insisting on being chronically unhappy, just to name a few. It's like you've been told your entire life what you can't do, what you should know, in so much that most people, by the time the Western education system spits them out, they don't even know how to properly consume information, much less think for themselves. And so why is this a problem? Well, because you have an entire generation that all thinks and they all act the same way. And if you're particularly influenced by the boomer generation, who operated on an entirely different social and economic plane, then it's like you're double fucked. Like, the system has evolved, man. And on one hand, this is tremendously beneficial for creators that are engaged within this digital renaissance, so to speak. Those who are challenging the psyops of the greedy elite, who charade you with their traditions when in reality they're just wanting you to conform. Because here's the truth. It's like, what benefit would monopolistic capitalism do if you had millions of people thinking for themselves? So what you do then, of course, is you carefully curate a system that allows for just enough reward to, keep the mindless entertained without ever raising suspicion. People are so enamored and entertained by the puppet show that's happening on stage that they don't ever think to see what's happening backstage, right? It's like, by nature, we are conditioned to believe what's in front of us rather than question what's in front of us. And that type of thinking is very dangerous. And this reason right here is why I believe that many people who are experiencing quote-unquote existential crises are actually just experiencing profound moments of clarity. So let me elaborate a little bit. My divorce at 25 years old, to me, was not a tragedy. It was a profound moment of clarity that I felt like the universe was telling me, it's time to pack your bags and get the hell out of there. Once I took that step forward, my entire perception of myself, the world around me, completely changed. When you get clarity through any sort of awakening, it's going to erode layers and layers of conditioning and all of your ideologies and the personality that you used to hide behind. So you're going to feel very naked and exposed and confused. And then you have the next stage, which, to be honest, is hardly better. It's not better. And this affects your interpersonal relationships, so it becomes difficult to relate. It creates a pain that no one else seems to understand. And also, you feel like you can't really share what you're going through with other people because you perceive them as still caught up in materialism or just the everyday worries of life, that it's like they wouldn't even understand. So it's like a lost cause. So you feel hopeless, depressed, and lonely eventually. And I believe at this point, 90% of people are going to resort back to their old patterns of living because the programming is just too strong. Because the pain of being misunderstood, as you take the time to reinvent yourself, is too much of a daunting task. So you go back to the person that you're at least familiar with. It's a very predictable way of thinking, so it feels safe. But what about the 10% that choose to engage within this new mind-body complex? Well, you get an upgrade. There's a quote in Fight Club where Tyler Durden says, self-improvement is like masturbation. Self-destruction is the answer. I think there's some truth to this because the ego tries to survive at all costs, but an awakening dissolves the ego. And as you seek truth, your identification of the world around you changes, and the reality for you is a lot of the things that you're seeing have always been there. You're just now seeing them throughout this lens of filtration that you've had previously. It's like going to unplug the Xbox, you're taking off the VR mask, and you're just there beholding this unsettling sight of reality. You take off that mask and you're just like, oh shit, there's a lot going on here. And from an outsider's point of view, it's like, this can make you a little weird. You're all of a sudden unable to relate to like 95% of the population. You'll have doubts, you'll second guess yourself, you'll feel lost, you'll curse God, complain. It's just like messy, man. You'll have this like horrible sense of feeling like you don't belong anywhere. You're gonna start to put pineapple on your pizza. It's like you might feel like something's wrong with you. You can have these feelings where you're not gonna be able to know why you need to do something, but you're just gonna do it. And that's gonna be a really glorious moment for you because faith is now leading the charge. And you won't know why or how to do something, but you're just gonna do it anyways. So congratulations if you've experienced this, or maybe you're currently experiencing this. Pretend that I'm just handing you like a trophy through the camera. Good job. On the other side of this is peace, clarity, and purpose, not the absence of struggle though. So final thoughts, guys. Question everything. Don't be afraid to follow your inner voice and to rebel against the system that society so desperately wants you to conform to. Do something no one has ever done before. Try everything. Don't be afraid to fail. And you know what? Incorporate contrast in your life. Like take an art class. After that, go get jacked at the gym. It's like disappear off the grid for 6 months of your life, then come back, get reacclimated to society. Last thought is just give yourself permission to do the things that you've always been too afraid to say or do.